The boys barely had time to dust themselves off after beating Norths and winning a place in the grand final, and Newcastle was already caught in the grip of night fever.
I tell you, all the boys love the support. We can hear when we're going out. Even when I flip the corner, I can hear us. And just as much as for us, it's a personal, you know, it's a great thing to be in a grand final and maybe win it. We know for the town, and particularly all the core, all you guys that are always there all the time with us, we really appreciate it. So we know you're riding with us and you know, on our backs. We'll make sure we do good. So.
A week before the grand final, they were sleeping out to get a seat for the big match.
I done it last year and I enjoyed it. Newcastle are in this year, so I just want to get tickets.
Are you ready for a cold night?
Yeah, I am. There's nothing different to previous years and all that.
No, it's pretty nifty. Didn't got a bit of a cold this year. Didn't get one last year, but this year I'll get.
On Monday, more queues. It seems we'd do anything for a ticket and a t-shirt.
It's a big deal in my family, and we're pretty keen to get the tickets, so yeah, got here nice and early.
What is it about the nights that they seem to evoke so much passion from everybody?
I don't know, I think Novocastrians just love their football so much.
And they love the night.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, history says that, you know, the team that goes in their first try, you know, they don't usually go so well. On hindsight, the occasion gets too much. Well, unless you've got a real good reason, I reckon we have, because, you know, the whole town, this is not just for us, it's for everyone.
By Tuesday, the Hunter was raining red and blue.
What about a Butt's beef burger or a Muir muffin or a Joey hot cheese roll, Peyton pizza?
Everybody loved Harvey Norman because that was the place to meet the Knights.
If they don't win, they'll come home very proud anyhow.
They've done us proud now, and they'll do us proud again on Sunday.
My birthday on Monday, so they've got to give me an early birthday present.
As individuals, as a team, we feel privileged to represent all the people out there and have the opportunity to make so many people happy. It's great.
But I only needed one. One of the people that lived in our street, that's all, Adam Muir. Florable. Up the Florable boys.
I think it's outstanding. I'm really delighted that the people have actually got behind the team. They're really supporting the boys well, and I just hope the boys really enjoy every moment of this. A lot of fond memories will come from it, I'm sure.
People were dying to see the big game.
And they're going to kill Manly.
And it was a time when a whole new generation of Novocastrians learnt about pride in our region.
Well, I think that since they've made it all the way, they deserve a chance, and I think that they'll make it all the way. Oh, I've been to most of their games, and I reckon they're going all the way, and they're the best.
Well, because they've never made it to the grand finals before, and if they come this far, I think they just deserve to win it. And if they don't make it, at least they made it to the grand finals and they beat the other teams.
By Friday, the Hunter was a no-go zone for Manly fans.
Newcastle people love sport, and Newcastle people love to see our sporting champions, whether it's teams or individuals, sticking it to the rest of Australia and sticking it to the world.
Then, on Saturday, night fever reached an all-time high.
It's a sort of a nervous occasion for us, but what we're going to do is try to keep it as routine as possible.
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous about it, about the game.
Knights are going to win by a mile, and Andrew Johnson's going to rip Tuvi's head off.
fans turning out in their thousands to bid our boys farewell. We formed a guard of honour all the way to the Central Coast. Then came the most anticipated day in 200 years of Newcastle. The day we took on the evil Manly Sea Eagles in the Australian Rugby League Grand Final. About 35,000 Novocastrians packed into dozens of buses and trains and thousands of cars, and all headed south into enemy territory to support our charges. The rest got some mates around, or headed to the Newcastle Workers Club to cheer the boys home. I must admit, things didn't look good early. But then we scored. And we scored again. And suddenly it was 16-all. Then there was a miracle. We win, we make history, and oh, do we party. By sundown, every roadside position from Orimba to King Street was taken. At the Newcastle Workers Club, thousands came to welcome home our hero. But we had a long wait on our hands. Sometime before midnight, the bus arrived, carrying the victorious Knights and the Optus Cup.
Reception getting back in here is almost scary.
It's I've said it a few times now, and I'll say it again. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I would never believe it. From Gosford onwards, thousands upon thousands of people lining the streets in the middle of nowhere and the roundabouts, and then all the way in from Moore's End, there was just teams, thousands upon thousands. We've come up to the Workers' Club. I reckon there must be at least 20,000 out there. And every auditorium's full. It's an amazing thing. But the boys are talking on the bus on the way home, and I think we realised that we didn't play terrific today. We didn't play real good. Obviously, this was more than just a football match. This is much more than a football match. This meant a lot to a lot of people. I think it made a difference at the end. I think without a doubt we got helped out. With 6 seconds to go, but it made the difference. The 100 tonight. Everyone's cheering. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do. Everyone's united together, and I think we all just feel lucky enough that we've been a part of it.
That's the thing. I mean, when you lace on a football boot as a kid or even as a professional, you don't realise the baggage, all the stuff that comes with it.
Yeah, it does. And I just think the time was right. For Newcastle and the Hunter Valley, we needed this. We've been copping a lot of crap for a long time in every different avenue, and today we all had just a chance to stand up and rejoice that you can't stop Newcastle, you can't stop the Hunter Valley, and that's the difference. You can do things individually yourself, and it's great to win a grand final. It's good to play for Australia and all the rest of it.
but it's 1,000 times fold when you share it amongst everyone. And that was the essence. We had a meet the night before, and that was the talk, and it made the difference.
How could you get emotionally? The whole town got behind us. When we left Saturday to go to the game, there was like 30,000 people lined the streets. Everyone on the bus had a tear in their eye, and we knew we had to do it. We got out here today, and it just got so behind us. It's great for the city.
I mean, you blokes obviously knew that people were really behind you and, giving you the shove and had support, but you couldn't have known that it was going to be like it was today, could you?
I mean, at stages there I was out on my feet. I didn't think I could give any more. I was in a bit of pain, and fatigue levels, I was gone. But they had the Newcastle call, and we talked about it before the game. Troy Fletcher brought it up and said, we should get a Newcastle call because it means that much. And we started it. We were calling Newcastle on the field, and the crowd was saying Newcastle, and we rode home on their emotions, and everyone said it. It's as much as the crowd's trophies, it is ours.
We've been talking having a few beers, and said how good it would be just to win a grand final, and tonight just bypassed every expectation any of the players have had. That just shows that the spirit of Newcastle and really how much they wanted us to win. And just winning today is not for the players, it's for the town. And there's people out there that don't have much good luck, but every one of them tonight people had a smile on their face, and they couldn't be happy, and we couldn't be happier for them.
And that must be a wonderful feeling to be able to bring that joy to a city, and really, it sounds like a cliche, but it might well have been the difference today.
Mate, I reckon it was just like the Newcastle. When we left yesterday, I've never seen anything like the people that line the streets, and we thought geez, those people, they give their right arm to be where we are, and which is true. And we had a bit of a meeting last night, and actually got a bit emotional towards the end, and all the players said what it means to them and how much what they're going to do, and everyone just backed up today. Even when we were behind, 8 points for a lot of the game, we just said we got to stay. I think they had a few injuries, and just stay positive. And mate, with 10 seconds to go, there it was, and a lot of people wrote us off all week, and that makes me that happy just to say to them, really, you were very, very wrong. And just we haven't beaten them for 12 games. That's the first time we've ever beaten in first grade. Just to beat them.
Give Hoppers a pat on the head.
Nah, mate, Hopper, I know a lot of people don't like it, and I'll stick up for the bloke here. I know him personally as a person, and he's a really nice player. It's just the way, it's just his competitive nature, but just to beat him once, we're premiers now, mate, and see this? That's what it's all about.
That last night everybody talked about what winning today would mean to them. Tell me what it means to you.
Well, it's just the ultimate. It means, well, not only means a lot to me, but probably means a lot to the players that put on the jumper, for Newcastle in the first years, the pioneers of the Newcastle Knights, for every Novocastrian that supported us over the years. And I'm just so happy and so proud to have worn a red and blue today. And I couldn't have asked for any better.
it was a great performance from the boys, you know, what can you say? We had that little bit of energy to go at the end there to got it across the line. I mean, myself, it's my mother-in-law here, and she cooks me the best meals. And that's why I get so much energy.
There she is, taking a bow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very proud of him?
Yes, very, very proud.
And your cooking did the job, did it?
Yeah, that's good. Him like my work.
Good stuff. Mate, what about when you got back here tonight? Like, I've seen old tapes of the Beatles. It was a bit like that.
It was pandemonium. No doubts about it. And mate, from 94 on when I made first grade, we often talked about what it'd be like when we come back here. But MG said it was happening from 88. Everyone said, what would it be like if we made the grand final? And mate, it was more than we ever expected, you know. It went beyond expectations. It was absolutely incredible. Just the people there, just the passion. You know, it's usually a conservative city, but like the way they've gone, it was absolutely phenomenal.
Mate, the crowd was phenomenal, and it was a great feeling today, winning the grand final. And as you can see, I got the ring on here. Mate, it's a great feeling, and everyone's in here just partying hard. I've been with my girlfriend all night, and you know, she's a lovely lady. And like tonight's just been great, mate. You know, the crowd and support we've got all year been 110%. If we were for the crowd this year, you know, where we are today, we'd like to thank the people of the Hunter, the heart and soul of the Hunter, you know, very much for being their support all year. And you know, the stuff that's happened with BHP and all the miners this year, like 200 years of Newcastle, 10th anniversary, mate. This puts icing on the cake. Winning the grand final, mate, just you know, puts it all together.
It was the best day of my life, and it was like someone handed me a storybook with exactly what I had to do written in it, and I've just gone out there and achieved it all in one day. Player of the match, a couple of tries. What more could I possibly ask for?
Mate, you knew that Newcastle was behind you and whatever else, but you couldn't have guessed the sort of support that you had and just how mad everyone was behind you.
Yeah, when we made the grand final last week, the players seen themselves as contenders, but I don't think they believed that we could be winners. And Newcastle people, they sort of took us under their arm and made us feel like heroes and made us feel like winners. And I'm glad we stayed in town and really lapped up. We're sort of coming from Sydney, all this feedback that you can't live a week in glory and then go out there and expect to win. And we did exactly that, and it was a plus for us. Like they don't realise what it's like being down that way. And yeah, we used every single person in Newcastle and to get out there and actually win the game. And every time you made a tackle, every time you made a run, it was like you had, you know, every person in Newcastle on your shoulders or pushing along. It was maybe not on your shoulders because you were a bit weighed down, but just pushing along. And one stage in particular, when I scored the second try, I just got this mad push from Newcastle behind. There's no way I was ever going to get out of that try line, and Newcastle got me there. It was great.
There's a hell of a lot of people who've contributed to where we are tonight, haven't they?
Well, there are probably 600,000 people in the valley who give their support to the football team. This football team relates to the region, and they give back everything that the region gives to them. And individuals within the region from time to time have all had a part to play. There have been countless thousands of them. There are people from the under-7s, the people who look after the under-7s are contributing to this football team, and we're eternally grateful to them, and that's what the players react to.
You guys haven't got a ring on your finger, but it belongs to everyone who's pulled on a Knights jumper over the past 10 years, just a little bit, doesn't it?
Oh, mate, no doubt. Everybody that had any influence on any part of the Knights, for sure, it means a hell of a lot to all of us.
Do you think, how big a role do you think those years of tradition have played in bringing the side to where it is today?
Mate, I only played here for one season, that was in 1991, but even back then, the will to win has always been immense and probably better than any other team in the competition. And today it's shone through.
Right, Sam, you were there that very first day when it was against Manly, I believe, ran out in the Challenge Cup that very first time 10 years ago. We've come a long way.
Yeah, they were current premiers then too and defending champions, and I suppose like the boys today, we kicked butt and we got exactly the same reception as the guys again today on a smaller scale. And it's taken 10 years. The plan was a sort of a 7 to 10 year plan, and we stretched it out to 10 years. But absolutely ecstatic, yeah, fantastic.
Well, partying continued well into the night.
So, I think everyone should join in our victory song. We are supreme. We got the points again today. We never get in. The boards on the board. And all the backs they are a dream. We are the greatest football team that you've ever.
And while the politicians spent Monday arguing whether or not we'd declare a public holiday, the great bush poet John Williamson penned a tribute to the mighty Knights.
Folks, I was so emotional about Newcastle's win on Sunday that when I was driving down to Albury on Monday, had a lot of time to think about it, and I was still a bit teary about it all, and I ended up writing a poem. And it's still pretty fresh, so I hope you don't mind me reading it. When Newcastle won on Sunday, I sprung right out of my chair. I jumped up like a kangaroo and I cheered and punched the air. The chief just couldn't believe it until he heard the roar. Bloody hell, what a victory, with just 6 seconds to score. And Manly, don't feel bad. The victory is yours as well. If you hadn't been such champions, it wouldn't have been such a thrill. Well, they lined the roads out of Newcastle and they lined the road back in. What a day to be a Knight. Hogan's Ghost, what a win. So rugby league executives, heed this victory well. The game's gone back to the people. It never was yours to sell.
When we awoke on Tuesday morning, we were ready to party again, this time at the Knights Parade. By 10 o'clock in the morning, 10,000 people had packed into Stockland Jesmond. Then it was time to climb into the cars and head for town.
The crowd has been unbelievable. When we come home on Sunday night, I really wish I had a camera or something. There was just so many people. I don't think it would have been anyone in their living room put that way. And just to go to the Workers Club and get a reception like this, it was just fabulous. And I think it's just what this town needed.
Yeah, it's been a big couple of days. But, I'm sure we'll have plenty of energy today, all the everyone here, and it's going to be a real big day today. So we better fire up and make sure we're all ready.
All the way to the city, they lined the parade route. People had shouted themselves a public holiday and shouted congratulations to the boys. The ticker tape parade officially started in Beaumont Street, Hamilton. And it was into Newcastle's most famous street, Hunter Street.
Good to be better, even better than the real thing.
unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it ever. You see it on the tellies now when they have it in Sydney, but coming from Newcastle is just unbelievable.
Could be busy in the main street of Scone.
A fair bit busy on the main street of Scone, I'd say. But no, I don't mind going back up home. Just don't have a population like this, that's all.
At the top of town, well, there was standing room only. The marching koalas were great. Rusty and Rocky were as popular as ever, but the crowd was there to see the Knights. The parade headed through the mall.
I'll have another beer, I think. What do you think about your reception today?
Unbelievable.
What do you think about what it's done for the town? Newcastle brought them together.
Everyone's self-esteem's gone through the roof.
Yep.
Awesome. Had a great time. Everyone, I'll have another beer.
Cheers.
I'm dribbling.
You had any sleep yet? What do you reckon about the Knights, huh?
After a quick detour into Perkins Street, the parade turned into King Street and crowds that took the players' breath away.
It's undescribable, actually. There's that many people out, I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't seen it.
When you first took to the paddock as a footy player, did you ever think anything like this would be possible?
No, as I started when I was 6 and the biggest crowd was probably 10 people, 20 people, so this is it's so much bigger and it's really, really good.
Go guys, go real hard. You don't sound as though you've had much sleep.
Back to the game, man. I've got no voice left.
Good stuff. What do you reckon about this, huh?
It's the best thing that's happened to Newcastle. It's just excellent.
By the time they hit Derby Street, it was pandemonium.
They're just the people's team. It's fantastic. It's better than any other celebration in the 20 years I've been in this country. Really good.
Oh, it's going to lift Newcastle no end. It's marvellous. I think it's wonderful they won. They won on my birthday.
It is a great community, the soaring greatness of this people in an unmatched physical environment with a great community behind it, great institutions here, great loyalties.
So there's sort of enthusiasm and confidence that this has given the city, we can do anything.
A quick dash up the City Hall stairs and the crowd soon saw what they wanted. In the city's bicentennial year, on the club's 10th birthday, Chief hoisted the Optus Cup high above the city of Newcastle. The formalities might have been over, but the party was just starting. The Knights joining legendary Newcastle band the Screaming Jets on stage, and the players and fans became one.
I think it was such a momentous occasion for Newcastle. We just wanted to be like, we're all rugby league fans. We've always been big footy fans and that, and we just knew the magnitude of the Knights winning and how great it'd be for Newcastle. And I mean, we've toured the world as the Jets and stuff, and everywhere I go, it would be Tulsa, Oklahoma, it'll be Denmark. I'll get up and say, we're the Screaming Jets from Newcastle, mate. And so when Newcastle won, it was just like we had to come back here and we had to be a part of it, and we're just stoked that they let us be a part of it, you know.
In honour of Robbie O'Savis, I want to see you all do the Robbie O'Davis dance. Huh? Leo Davis is Elvis. That's alright. So that's alright. Oh, come on, mama. Let the whole thing go. Come on. It's not enough to be like Elvis. The subjects only have one king. It's not a choice that makes you helpless. Look at all the suffering that brings. It's not enough to have all the answers. And it's not enough just to be prepared. It won't be the one you're holding on to. It's the one you miss when it's not there, not there.